Hallo ihr Rabauken and welcome to my long-term review of the Godox TT685s for Sony. You will find a clickable table of contents in the description plus some additional info, so see you right after the intro. So I want to give you my conclusion right at the beginning. I really like this flash. There are only two things I don't like about this flash. So one is the amount of force or the amount of power it takes to really turn the flash head. If you compare this to a Canon flash, it's really tough to turn them, especially since the hot shoe is made out of plastic. And that's no difference to the V1, right? It's really the same. And then the next thing would be that the flash hasn't got a TCM button. A TCM button is the following. So if you're shooting in TTL, you can press the TCM button to bring the flash into manual mode directly, and it will use the settings, the power settings of the last TTL flash you fired. So if you are shooting an image with TTL and the measurement of the TTL mode told the flash, okay, that's 1/8 of power. If you then press the TCM button, the manual mode will, the flash will go into manual mode at 1/8 of power. And that's basically all I dislike about this flash, really. I purchased 6 of these 2.5 years ago, sorry. That time mostly on Amazon because you couldn't get them via other retailers in Germany. It was very hard to get them. And I was using them mainly as studio flashes, backdrop flashes. So that's why I also can calculate pretty good how many flashes they were firing. So each flash fired about 25,000 flashes. And out of 6 Godox TT685s, 2 are dead. So one is really dead, so I can show you. That's this one. Okay, right, so it tries to boot, but it's not working, so this one is dead, gone, completely. The other one, which is this one, it still seems to be fine, but when I'm using this one with the remote trigger, like the X1T, X2T, XPro, etc., it's really behaving funny. Sometimes it's flashing, sometimes it's not flashing. It's doing a lot of, it's causing a lot of misfires. Plus the settings are not working properly. So the setting of the settings between the trigger and the flash. So the way I was using them at the beginning, I used the flashes with this mount. Okay, so this is a standard hot shoe mount basically, and I really can't recommend to use these because, as you can see over here, I broke the hot shoe that way, and it only the flash I took it off the stand like this, placed it on a little stool or chair, and it dropped like from that high. It wasn't a very hard drop, but it hit the ground in a funny angle and it immediately ripped off the shoe, the hot shoe. So I can recommend to use these S brackets, the Godox S brackets. So that's the new version where you've got this lower exchangeable or swappable part. So that way you can either mount it in this direction, or you can also mount it upside down, which I prefer if I want to use these flashes for illuminating the backdrop. And I have to admit, when I chose to go with this option, the S2 bracket wasn't available, so I couldn't mount the flash upside down basically, or vertical. So if you compare this TT685 concerning the recycle time with the V1, which is using a lithium-ion battery, you will be pretty amazed how close they are. So I will go down to 1/16 of power. So I will not start right at 1/128 because at that power level, they're really the recycle time is completely identical. Okay, so now they are both at 1/16. As you can see, that's the sound of this one. That's the sound of this one. Completely the same, right? Okay, so now I go to 1/8 or 1/8. Okay. Still the same. So and now I'm going to 1/4. Sound. It's a little bit, this one is a little bit faster, so it's like dee-deet, dee-deet. So now I'm going to 1/2. Okay. Okay. And now we are going to full power. Okay, so but they're pretty close, and that's very impressive, because I like to use these black rechargeable batteries, and I charge them twice a week. No, sorry, every fortnight roundabout. So, and they were good for about 2 years. Afterwards, after 2 years, they got 2 weeks. So I had to change them. And out of one set of batteries, when I'm shooting events, so at the event, I think the power setting in most cases is about 1/8 to 1/4. I can get about between 600 to 800 flashes out of one set of batteries, and that's pretty good. And it's very easy to have another set with you to change them. And they also work pretty fine in TTL. So I'm using TTL when I'm shooting events. So just the TCM button, as I mentioned, is missing. I like TCM buttons for the case, like for example, if you've got a situation that's the same shooting wise, so like if people are marching off the stage after a show, for example, and you're taking an image of every person coming off the stage, but in the background of the stage you've got light. So depending if the person is a little bit more to the right in the image or a little bit more to the left, you will see more or less of the light in the background. So if you're shooting this at TTL, the exposure will vary for every person, and which you would have to correct in post, which causes another portion of work. And in these cases, I like to do the first shoot with TTL, then I press the TCM button, and the complete rest is exposure-wise always the same and stable. So if you compare the TT685 to the AD200, which might be a little bit weird, but I like to do this for one reason, because I used the TT685 at the beginning also with in the softbox as front or key light. So that's the main softbox I was using, is an 80 by 80 centimeter Godox standard softbox. If you are using the AD200 with the bulb in the softbox compared to using the TT685 in the same softbox with a Fresnel head basically, the power settings are nearly identical. So I shot both flashes in the softbox with like 1/8 of power, for example. So there was maybe a third of a stop difference. So that's power-wise, I think, very interesting, because at the beginning I wanted to know what's the power difference between these two flashes. And of course, this is an omnidirectional light, so the light is going everywhere in every direction, and the Fresnel head is only shooting to the front. So that's the main reason why this flash is a little bit more is nearly strength-wise the same to the AD200, but on the images I can't see a difference. Okay, I did a very big comparison between these two in different softboxes. I measured them with a light meter, and there were some surprising outcomes. But if you want to start studio photography, it's flash speed lights are a very good light to start with. So what else can I say? Batteries we've got, the defects we've got, and as I said, from my side, it's really only the force you need to turn the head plus the missing TCM button. Otherwise, I'm very pleased. And the question is if 25,000 flashes fired are a good amount of flashes you can get out of these speed lights before they break. But what I really can't say because of these broken lights, since I bought them via Amazon, I have no idea where they came from. So they came from a international dealer, so I don't know what happened to these flashes when they travel from Godox to me. If they had a lot of mechanical stress, etc., etc., so that I can't say anything about this. The other flashes are still fine, so no issues with these ones. And so that's from my side for the long-term review. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention: color temperature is fine. Okay, so I haven't had any issues with color temperature changes when I'm using a lot of flash. When you want to shoot a lot of photos using HSS, so high-speed sync, I have to admit that they overheat very quickly. So you can't really shoot a lot of images outside, like click, 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 with a model. So that's freezing in the water, for example. So that was one occasion where I had these flashes with me shooting a model in the water, and the water was pretty cold. It was in the summer, but the river had only 17, 18 degrees. So after 15 minutes, the shoot is over. So I have to take a lot of images quickly, and it's not possible with these ones in HSS mode, like 10, 12, 15, 20 flashes, and they started to go into pause mode basically, so they stop working for a while until they cool down. Okay, so I hope you liked this video. If you do, or if you did, I'm happy to get a like, subscribe for more, and I would also be happy if you check out my Instagram, and check out also the descriptions, the links I've got below, and don't forget, listen to more heavy metal. Thank you. Bye.